Down here at Kick-Ass MMA with the consensus #1 contender in the featherweight division, Abdalla Biayda. Mate, first of all, do you think there's any dispute at you being #1?
No dispute at all. My resume speaks it all. Speaks louder than, than everything else. I've done everything, man. I know I'm #1, and I deserve to be #1, and I'm just waiting for the next, basically.
I feel like even after all of the title bouts, even this Van Heerden versus Costa, June 10th, HBF Stadium, the Eternal MMA featherweight belt on the line, and even after we just saw Diego Pereira, Jesse Medina, Diego made a bit of a point that he might be next. But I feel like I said, consensus, you are #1. What do you want next? Do you want to wait for the winner out of Van Heerden and Costa? Or do you want to get that Diego Pereira fight back?
Well, I really want to run it back with Diego because I've been wanting I've been chasing him ever since he gave me that first career loss, and he just like excuses after excuses. I was just like, I want him, and I want to make the wrongs right kind of thing. So I want to run it back, and I want to prove to him and show him that I improved since my last fight, because it was early in my career, but I really want to run it back with Diego. But if Diego doesn't happen, it's either I gotta wait for the winner of Costa and Van Villen.
Did you ask for the Diego fight?
100%. I've been asking for it.
And what was your word back?
Bullshit. They're just being like, just telling us like crap, and then like I just got sick of it. So
are you hearing from Diego's camp at all, or is it just with Eternal?
Eternal. I haven't heard not much from their camp. You know what I mean? Whenever we do hear from their camp, it's just like a bunch of bullshit that we just it doesn't really make sense. So we just want a straightforward answer. Do they want to fight us? Yes or no?
What are your thoughts with, obviously, Rod Costa, an amazing fighter, but he's the Eternal MMA bantamweight champion coming up to fight for the featherweight. You're the #1 contender that has to wait. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, man, I'm not really going to comment on that, bro, because they're doing whatever they're doing, man, and I'm just gonna do what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? I'm not really gonna rely on just Eternal and all that stuff. There's other promotions who want me in their show, and I can take my talent elsewhere if that's the case, because hey, I'm here for all that. But I really do respect Eternal and what they've done with me, and I'm just waiting. I'm just in the waiting list right now.
Now, you speak about other promotions. Khan Offley, obviously on a tear in the featherweight division. What are your thoughts on him?
I really want to fight Khan Offley. I really, truly respect him. He's done a lot of good things, and he's a good fighter. He's a great talent, and I just want to run it with him. I think he's the guy who's going to really bring the best out of Abdalla Biayda.
And I hate asking this, but you are so close with the UFC on the horizon. How far do you feel away from that? Because I feel like there's a couple of guys waiting for that UFC Sydney card. Do you feel like you're next up?
Oh, I'm definitely next up. I think I'm just ahead of these guys, 110%. Just give me the fights that I'm asking for, and I'll show you how good I am.
And if you could pick say none of these fights are scheduled, none of these fights are happening, who do you want right now?
I really want it's either Khan or Alvi.
Why Khan?
Khan is going to bring the best out of me.
And why is that?
I just believe that he's just in that level that he's going to bring the best out of Abdalla Biayda.
Well, speaking of the best, I mean, you've always been known for your striking, and I feel like your grappling has really been on display. I mean, you're starting to finish guys with submissions, a standing guillotine over Josh Kuhn, an arm triangle over Philpott. What are you doing here at Kick-Ass that's getting you grappling to that level?
I was on the mat. I'm staying away from the striking area. It's just always on the mat. Working my jiu-jitsu, wrestling, just try to get that area closed up. And then when that's closed up, I am gonna be a hard opponent for anybody.
How far is that away from being closed up?
Oh, not that far. My next fight is gonna show it all.
Is that potentially why you want a Khan Offley, because he's a bit more of a grappler?
Yes.
Okay, and now as we head into June 10th, HBF Stadium, the Eternal MMA featherweight belt, Van Heerden defending against the bantamweight champ Rod Costa. What are your thoughts on that bout? Who do you think is going to take it?
I don't really care. Whoever wins, like, may the best man wins. But all I know is that main event is going to be so boring. It's going to be like an advanced cuddling Wisco main event, and it's going to be boring. It's going to be a snooze fest.
You're not impressed with the main event?
I'm not impressed with it. Like, trust me, 2 grapplers headlining a main event. Come on, bro.
But Rod's medaled at Worlds and Jiu-Jitsu. Justin Van Heerden's been the underdog for 5 or 6 fights, and now he's finally he's trying to run it back. I mean, you can see obviously the love of trying to run it back while also defending the belt, can't you? I mean, that's what you want with Diego.
Yeah. Man, I'm not really impressed with what's called with Costa or Van Villen. I'm not really impressed with none of those dudes. I don't think what's called they're really underestimating me.
You keep calling him Van Villen.
Yeah, looks like a villain.
It looks like a villain.
Yeah. The villain of the Wisco division. Yeah.
So you're telling me that there's nothing about their games that really worry you at all?
Not really. Like, they can take me in the Wisco the worst positions, man. But me, man, I will literally beat you in your own game. That's the confidence that I have in myself, and that's the ability and the skill set that I truly know that I will get the job done.
So you're telling me if you take on Rod Costa, you're not just going to strike from the outside. You don't mind getting in that grapple.
I don't mind him taking me down. I will even give him my leg if he wants to. But let's do it. I'm not really scared, bro. It is what it is. If it gets me, it gets me. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna be like, oh yeah, blah blah blah. But I'm not always the type of guy who likes putting himself in the bad positions and working from that, or just learning from it. That's how I'm gonna evolve.
And now going away from the fights, obviously taking the training and into your career, you've really carved out a nice career. We've talked about this before, but how does it feel to put the African community on your back and obviously highlight it to this level?
It feels good, bro. My actual goal is to inspire all the other Africans, around the world, in Australia. Doesn't matter where they are. If I could do it, they can as well. That's my biggest goal, and just inspire the youth. The martial arts area is just more. It's there's more to it than just fighting. There's more there's a lot of discipline and a lot of things that come with it.
You've actually talked, and a lot of people don't know a lot about this, but you talk about the mental game quite a bit, and it kind of affected you a little bit early on. Do you feel 8-1 now, you're doing pretty well, but do you feel like you've harnessed the mental aspect of mixed martial arts?
Yes, the mental aspect, man. It was my biggest thing. I used to have mad a bad self-doubt until later on in my my professional career. Then I pushed that doubt away, and then everything started making sense. And then, yeah, it was just my biggest my biggest battle. My biggest battle is literally my mind, and the fight is literally the easiest part for me.
And now I want to talk about another fight that's on the card, a guy that you've fought before, Quillan Salkiel taking on Blake Donnelly at lightweight for the lightweight championship. Can you talk about what that bout with him and where it put you? Because you essentially got dominated in the grappling. Does that still sit with you? Does that fire you up? Does that sort of get you going? And I know it's a fighter well out of your division, but is that ever a fight you want to get back?
It was my last amateur fight, and not really, because I blame myself in that fight. I put so much pressure on myself. And I carried it onto the cage, and then that's the result. When you put too much pressure on yourself without believing in yourself, having doubt in yourself, that's the result. I respect Quillan, and I want him to be a champ. He's gonna be a champ, and and I want him to just do great things, man. I don't really want to run it back. It was the amateurs. Amateurs are back there for me.
Well, that's why I wanted to talk to you just quickly too about the amateurs. Is you had a very fight anyone. I mean, it helps when you have a coach like Steve Kennedy who will not let you run away from a fight, especially in an amateur. You had some wins, some losses, but it really geared you up heading into the professional scene. Now 8-1. Is there anything you would do differently if you had to go back?
Yeah, fought more. And fought for belts, and also other promotions as well. If I if I had more time to stay in the amateurs, I would have gone with the mental side was go down and packed. that would have been better. Like, but I wish I had more time in that image.
And now, when it comes to guys walking into the gym for the very first time, what advice would you have? I mean, I remember seeing you walk in. You knew nothing. You weighed about 32 kilos. Like, what would you tell a young teenager walking into an MMA gym for the very first time that wants to be in your position?
Just like do the best as you can. Work hard. Stay dedicated. The number one thing is just stay consistent. Stay consistent, and everything will work. Because I stayed consistent even though it was really hard, and I was just still showing up regardless, like when I want to like train or whatever. But like stay consistency is the number one thing, and then also like work hard. You will get to where you want to be, and also have patience in yourself again.
And one final question from me, actually two. When can we see you in the cage next? It's all well and good to be number one contender and everyone thinks you should fight for the belt, but I'm assuming you're not necessarily going to want to wait. The Diego fight might not happen. Is there a deadline where you're like, I don't care who, I want to fight by July, or is there a date?
Yes, July. Like we're targeting July. Whoever wants it. We got a couple of names, but like, you know, they're not really available, but whoever wants it, really, man, let's do it. Even if I have to fight a lightweight in July, anybody, Eternal, let's do it. Let's go.
Now, just finally, after it's all said and done, how does Abdalla Biayda want to be remembered in mixed martial arts?
Just a Sudanese guy, a skinny Sudanese guy that came out of nowhere and like beat everybody. And he did it with heart, and he did it with determination and, you know, consistency and hard work. Yeah.
Awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, the man from Sudan. It's been awesome to watch you grow, Abdalla Biayda.